Hey, welcome back. This week has been nothing but bizarre. But before we get into that, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and leave me a comment when we get done with this. Let's get to it. Hey, I know I said we were going to do some weird stuff. We'll get to that in a second because there's some important news up in Montreal at the International Civil Aviation Organization. 6 months ago, the administration put forward Captain Sully Sullenberger for the U.S. ambassador and our U.S. representative to ICAO. Hey, seems like that would have been just a shoo-in. But no, at the typical speed of government, that just got done. 6 years in the making. Hey, and with the cloud of safety issues hanging over the U.S., with an increasingly complex global harmonization footprint with China and Europe, Administrator Sullenberger seems to be an absolutely perfect fit. His role on the Miracle on the Hudson really launched him into prominence as a safety advocate, and some of the people listen to. He's got a great presence, something the U.S. desperately needs in Montreal. And they need that for international negotiations, which will be tougher than ever. Hey, all the Washington Association groups are, lauding this as a great move, and yeah, that goes without saying, it's a super move. But why does this matter? Global standards are diverging from requirements to navigational aids to the certification process of advanced air mobility vehicles to new entrants to airspace delegations. And you think about what's upcoming with trying to negotiate treaties for space and space junk and stuff like that. Check out last week's. The U.S. will need strong and powerful leadership to be able to get that done. And we've enjoyed that leadership for a long time. Can't lose it, but it's kind of weak at the moment. And I think Ambassador, let's call him Ambassador Sullenberger, is a great pick to turn that around. Welcome to the team. Okay, now on to the weird stuff. So, unruly passengers. Over 5,500 events, and the FAA is joining with TSA, and they are clamping down. Fines as high as $40,000, and things being turned over to justice for criminal prosecution. I don't know where it ends, but it's not just like the Delta flight a while ago from Washington, D.C. to Oklahoma City, where a passenger got combative with both a flight attendant and an air marshal. I don't think that's a good idea. But beyond having a good idea, a woman on a Delta Airlines flight was reportedly caught breastfeeding her cat. It was a hairless cat that was swaddled in a blanket and looked like a baby. I don't know that that's breaking any rules, but it is kind of weird. So, but let's say, hey, the flight was from Syracuse to Atlanta, Georgia, but this is where it gets breaking the rules. The airline staff asked her to stop, and she didn't stop. You gotta listen to the flight attendant or bad things happen. So she didn't stop, and so got to be a problem when they got to Atlanta. But isn't it weird that this stuff always happens on Delta? It's just Delta all the time. Nah, just kidding. They're the ones that have taken the pointy end of the spear, though, to say, hey, we need to do something about this. They're the ones that are driving for sharing the do not fly list and enforcing that. I think CEOs should be able to call each other and be able to handle this, but I think they're running out of runway to get this kind of stuff done. So a lot of it's related to masks. The mandate was supposed to be lifted on January 18th of 22, but that's now extended to March, and the way things are going, hey, it's going to, who knows when that's going to happen. So we're going to have to deal with this head on. So the government needs to step in, and especially before some big disaster happens. People are trying to open doors in flight. I mean, where are you going to go? What happens when the door, if it does open? It's not supposed to open, but what if it did? But that reminds me, 50 years ago, D.B. Cooper did get a door open. He got the rear platform of the 727 open, and he jumped out with a load of cash, never to be found. So, hey, D.B. Cooper did it. Yeah, they probably set some rules after that kind of incident. But last week, a passenger in Southwest actually did get the door open. They were on the ground, which is kind of where it, unlocks it, so you can unlock it. But they were on the ground at Phoenix. He got the door open on the rear galley, jumped out, ran across the tarmac while the airplane was taxiing from the runway to the gate. I mean, they got the guy, but come on, people. Don't open the door. That's not cool. So anyway, I think the government's got to step in. We've got to do something about this. There's got to be a way to figure out who's going to lose it once they get in the little metal tube at 35,000 feet. Anyway, that's weird stuff going on. And even more weird stuff is going on. A pilot flying at 39,000 feet over the South China Sea took a video of what he saw was a fleet of aliens. Now, haters gonna hate, with the internet experts already saying it's just flares from a gunship or something. But what fun is that? Hey, let's go with it for a minute. The DoD has launched a UFO task force, the AOIMSG. Sounds more like a food additive than anything, but it's the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, and they're supposed to work the dialogue amongst all the government agencies about what's really going on. It sounds like a free media thing where they're just controlling what we know is going on in Area 51, and so that they can hide the aliens more effectively. So it is for the government to detect, identify, attribute objects of interest, and assess and mitigate the associated threats. Well, I was okay with the detection part. You might have seen some cool video. But if you saw the movie Independence Day, I don't think we should be running in there to go mitigate alien intruders. I just think we ought to get our act together first. We're gonna need Will Smith with us on this one. So slow down, DoD. But anyway, UFOs, aliens, Malaysia Airlines 370 all point to the need for global ubiquitous surveillance for the safety of flight and to satisfy our curiosity. In the next 10 years, there will be over 38,000 new satellites overhead. Certainly, we should be able to get a decent video shot of stuff that's going on and what's happening in the airspace. Come on! And we're going to end with bizarre. I can't think of another word. 2 fully grown lions at the Singapore airport escaped their containers. You saw the movie Snakes on a Plane? Lions escaping their containers on a plane? Probably not cool. Luckily, they were on the ground at Singapore. They escaped their cages and were just hanging around, probably just tired of being in the back in economy right near the bathroom. They were sedated, now they're just chilling at the Singapore Zoo. But come to find out, Singapore has a long history of having animals escape. A panther in 1973, a hippo, odd as a hippo, get out of a cage in 1974, a jaguar, it wasn't a car, it was the animal in 2005, and a wild dog in 2014. So Singapore is an airport that is a stopover in a way that people take animals, like these kinds of rare animals, to undisclosed locations. But freaky, man. Maybe they should tell you that you're flying with lions in the belly of the airplane or something. I think that should be a new rule. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Hit the